For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Coming to you here from these beautiful new downtown Milwaukee studios, Damian Nelson alongside the man they call Meathead and the Cos and David Hero. And, gentlemen, we have so much to talk about this week. Coming off the heels of the WWE Survivor Series and WWE Raw from this past Monday night. But before we get to all that, we have a very special guest with us to kick off the show, and I couldn't think of a better way to start the show than with the TNA Knockouts Champion, ODB. ODB, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
What's up?
Are you drinking in the garage again, ODB?
You what?
Are you drinking in the garage again?
Oh, yes.
Milwaukee Best, Old Style, Pabst, what is it? What's
Milwaukee's Best Light is my choice of beer.
And, we got to let you know that every one of our guests so far, including Nash himself, had normally drank the red glass of wine. They like to loosen up a little bit. That's what Nash said. He said that he was sitting in a bathtub playing with Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett action figures, drinking his glass of wine while talking to us.
That's too much information.
That's TMI for sure. ODB, the current TNA Knockouts Champion, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on this program. Let's talk a little bit about TNA Wrestling right now, specifically what's going on, the big news story obviously coming out of TNA, bigger than anything else going on, and that is your recent signing of a new contract.
Yep, I just signed a few more years left at TNA, so I'm happy to, still have a job, so.
Can't go wrong with that. But obviously the other big news story is Hulk Hogan's signing with TNA, his partnership with Dixie Carter. ODB, your thoughts on what Hulk Hogan will mean to TNA Wrestling?
Actually, I'm looking forward to it. I think, TNA needs a change. A change is good, and I'm looking forward. I've never actually met Hulk Hogan, and I'm looking forward to see what he has, plans for TNA, like, if he's going to be a new writer, or I don't know what his role is going to be, but I'm thinking it's going to be good. I'm liking it.
You said change is good. Hogan has said publicly many a time he has a lot of ideas for change, specifically targeting the writers in TNA, saying that they're unnecessary. Yeah. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to keep my job here, so I like what I'm doing on TNA, so I have no problem with, they let me do my thing, so which I'm grateful for, what other place where I can touch my boobs and grab myself,
Oh, sorry. Wait. Before we move on, since you brought it up, I have a question, and this is very important. It's going to be the most important question of the interview.
Oh, boy.
Do you still have the mistletoe?
Actually, that is up for sale, actually.
I have the mistletoe.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. What am I going to see on the Christmas edition of Impact? I still remember ODB.
It'll be good.
All right. I still remember the mistletoe and its placement.
Will be up on eBay in the next couple days.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were disgusted by me. They're like,
"Oh, not me!
Oh no! Oh no!
No, it was a good night."
Oh boy!
And then you got Damien's attention, and that's a lot of work there.
It was the fact that nobody ever mentioned it.
Well, I think people were kind of shocked a little bit. They're like, "Really? Did she really put that down?" Oh boy, that's her.
Well, ODB, talk about the character ODB. How did it come about? Was it something that you created, or was it a friend that came to you and said, "I've got an idea for you"?
Actually, ODB was created this through all my years of wrestling in the independent scene, and it's basically me with the volume turned up a lot. And the name ODB actually came from my older brother.
Okay.
I used to beat him up a lot. He used to call me that.
He used to call you that, really?
Yeah. So it fits, it works, ODB, I don't think my real name would actually go, good. But it worked. I like it.
Well, ODB, you've had quite the journey. You started doing in the Midwest Independent, then going down to Louisville, Kentucky to OVW, training with Al Snow. What was that like, going from the Independents to OVW and then finally getting the call up to TNA?
Actually, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if without OVW. Danny Davis, Al Snow, they let me, they just polished me up, and got me ready for the big show. And I'm thankful for that. I had a blast there. You know, I got to work with basically everyone that you see on, you know, Monday and Thursday nights. I've worked with a lot of those girls, and it's very cool to see all of us, you know, make it somewhere. So very cool.
And the TNA Knockouts division obviously is the premier female wrestling division in any wrestling company in the world right now that focus on the knockouts, and the absence of that whole diva aspect. It has to make the environment just that much better. There's so many tremendous workers, yourself included, obviously, in the TNA Knockouts division. How did that come about? How did TNA decide to focus more specifically on their female wrestling talent?
Well, first of all, it's called TNA, so, you know, you need some chicks on there. I mean, hello. But I think they need a change, you know, like what us girls that we debuted 2 years ago at Bound for Glory for the title match. And, I think the girls are really helping out TNA right now. I mean, we have about, 3 segments on each show. I mean, what company has that, you know, with the girls? And
frequently the highest-rated segments on Impact.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but, yeah, I've heard that.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, all of us girls were also different. You know, you put all of us knockouts in the ring, and you can identify every single one of us because, you know, we're all so different. Like, you know, we have, the biggest girl in women's wrestling, you know, and then we have some eye candy there, you know, you always need that, but we're not all Barbie dolls, you know, playing dress up here, so.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Talk a little bit about the other ladies that you're wrestling. Is there a comfort level with some of them? Do you hang out after each show? What is the camaraderie like?
Frank, just be clear on what you're asking. You're asking what kind of party they got after the show, yeah.
Oh,
you ever know what happens in the locker room and stuff?
I didn't want to go there. Maybe.
Yes, I've seen them all. Let's get
Once you've seen 2, you see them all.
Yeah. You know, ODB, actually, we got to bring this up here. Frank is a little nervous when he talks to you. When you were here for, I believe it was Blizzard Brawl 1, Dave?
Blizzard Brawl 1.
Against Tracy. Frank did an interview with you. And,
he's so scared.
You made him nervous. You scared him.
I remember that.
Yeah, you made poor Frank
I'm still scared.
Yeah. I mean, you almost choked them out.
Frank's intimidated by beautiful women.
That's the thing. It's hard to stay focused.
ODB.
Yeah, when he's staring at something.
And it wasn't your fault.
Okay, we're gonna pull the veil back a little. He did say after that interview it was difficult to follow what was being said in a good way.
You know, and that was back when that was 2006.
2006, wow.
So that was right before you went to OVW, and now you're coming back for Blizzard Brawl 5 as the TNA Knockouts Champion.
Oh, yeah.
That's an impressive journey.
Oh, yeah, it is.
What happened to what was probably one of my favorite segments on Impact, ODB's Angle?
Actually, I just came back with it. It's called Trash Talking with ODB now.
Nice.
So, I have another one coming up in a couple weeks.
What was that? I think your episode with Charmel is probably my favorite.
Actually, that is my favorite, too. That was actually the very first episode.
Spray some lime juice on it. It'll be fine. Boxers or briefs?
Yeah, she wasn't too happy with me.
Well, ODB, you're going to be in town again coming up next Saturday night, I believe it is, December 5th. You're going to be at GLCW's Blizzard Brawl 5. What do you think about when you get the opportunity to come back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Oh, I love it. Actually, we were just there for a house show, and it's just cool to see, you know, the fans that supported me, 9 years ago, and they're still supporting me. So I think that's very cool to see how, they watched me through all those years and are still there. So I'm looking forward to see some of the old fans.
And ODB also, I'm not too sure if you're aware, but Armando Estrada has he called me last night, said that Blizzard Brawl is his retirement match. It's his last match. He's hanging up the tights and he's going on to bigger and better things.
Well, we'll have to give him a good party afterwards.
Good send-off, absolutely.
Speaking of parties afterwards, I was waiting for you after the TNA house show at the after party last time you were here. You stood us up. You stood me up.
Yeah, we waited.
I had my own little after party.
We were
I had to break in that title, every night.
We were standing at the Horny Goat, standing there waiting for you.
Yeah.
TNA Knockouts Champion ODB. You can see TNA Impact every Thursday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Spike TV. You are the representative of the Knockouts division and doing a great job at it at that. We look forward to seeing you next Saturday back here in Milwaukee at Blizzard Brawl 5. Thank you very much for your time this evening, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. See you, Meathead.
All right. See you. She shouldn't have done that. We're going to hear about that for the next 13 years. This is still to come, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, ODB, for that interview. Great chatting with who I think one of the best female performers in the wrestling industry right now. Thank you very much for coming on. Still to come on this show, though, we're going to talk about the WWE Survivor Series from this past Sunday. We're also going to talk about WWE Raw from this past Monday. A lot of newsworthy items there, along with This Week in History, our top 5, an update on the 2009 PWR honors, and more. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPN Milwaukee.
Read blogs from your favorite 540 ESPN personalities. Log on to the all-new ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com, and PWRShow.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, Frank Cosentino, the Cos, and the man they call Meathead, ODB.
Very nice. She's amazing.
Is there a little Whitechapel in Milwaukee?
I'm sure there's a multicolored chapel in Milwaukee.
I don't understand.
We're trying to get Frank hooked up is what we're trying to do.
I'm trying to get these headphones to stay on.
Well, you got a fat head.
Oh, it's not a meathead, though.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
You can join us live on the phone lines. The number locally here in southeastern Wisconsin on 540 ESPN is 414-276-3776. Again, that's 414-276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. 1-800-990-ESPN. We're also live in the chatmosphere at PWRShow.com, where the discussion continues live online. Let's take our first phone caller of the evening, because it just feels right to do so. Let's go down to New Orleans, Louisiana. Anthony, you're live.
Good evening, guys. How are we doing tonight?
Anthony. Hopefully not. Anthony, here's my question for you before you get going.
Yes, sir.
Last time you had a hand grenade.
Oh, man, it's been too long.
Oh, no. I hope you would say last night.
Bourbon was fun when I was 16 and not supposed to be down there. Now I can do it anytime I want.
But now that you're 19, it's not fun anymore, huh?
Well, for what you pay for a case of beer, you know, and you buy one hand grenade down there, it's cheaper to do it at home.
Okay, but you only need one hand grenade. They still have that place called Big Ass Beers?
Well, no, they don't have a place necessarily.
That's a guy on the
walk
street.
around with signs and say, hey, come in.
You know, Big Daddy's is closed. Is Big Daddy still closed down there?
Big Daddy's is closed, and I have a horrible memory from there, but we won't get into that. That's for another show.
Probably not late enough to talk about that, but Anthony, thank you for calling in. I believe a first-time caller. You want to talk about pay-per-view and taping shows? Go ahead. It's your turn.
Sir. I had two of them for you really quick. What are your chances you think New Orleans will get another pay-per-view anytime soon? I mean, I know we had Extreme Rules, which was kind of a bust, kind of good for me, but what do you guys think?
SmackDown's going to be returning, I believe, to the New Orleans arena at some point in the next 6 months. I can effort getting a date there. February. Okay, very good.
And they will make their way with Raw in Lafayette
Who's to say that, you know, New Orleans still isn't in the bid for maybe a WrestleMania? I mean, they put the Super Bowl there. How many years? What, every 4? Every 5?
We lead the nation with the Super Bowl. But see, the thing is the tax here for performance is so high. That's why the Superdome doesn't get used for things like that.
That's why they're not coming anytime soon.
Yep.
Okay.
So my second one for you is, how much do you think the integrity of professional wrestling has changed due to the fact that many shows are being taped now, as they use words as such as they come off of a pay-per-view like 2 nights ago or 3 nights from now? You know, when they talk about SmackDown being it's taped on Tuesdays, but they say 3 nights away to the pay-per-view, how much do you think that ruins the integrity of the show?
It's professional wrestling, Anthony.
Understood, but, I mean, you do have your hardcore fans out there, and
I'm not sure how many people know that SmackDown is taped in advance. I don't know how many people know Impact is at times 2 weeks old, maybe 3 weeks old. Let's think back to the days of wrestling before the Internet, though.
Wrestling Challenge, Wrestling Superstars.
I remember Raw here in Milwaukee after the 1996 King of the Ring. Raw was actually in Green Bay at the Brown County Expo Center. It was the Ultimate Warrior's last event with WWE. And we sat there through 5.5 hours of Raw taping.
Wasn't it 3 shows?
It was a month's worth of shows, 5.5 hours of Raw tapings, and that was fine then. I think now, I don't think it really has any impact on the integrity of wrestling. I don't think it has. I certainly don't think it has a negative impact on it. But it depends on what everyone else thinks out there.
Well, I was surprised when I found out about TNA being taped 2 weeks at a time. When I had a buddy go out there, and I was shocked. I mean, it's kind of. I know it's fake. Well, let's not use that.
Predetermined.
Let's not use that word. They are professional actors.
No. Fake is barred from this show. It is the following statement.
I agree.
It is
I retract my last statement.
Good for you, Anthony. It is a controlled situation with a premeditated outcome.
I just feel that these gentlemen are being taken advantage of by having some tapings, maybe some more live shows to bring back some of the integrity, maybe even boost ratings.
No, it's a financial thing, honestly, for the companies. The reason they tape the shows is it just works financially for them.
It's very expensive to run a Raw program.
It's $750,000 for every live TV show they do.
Yes, sir. I agree, and I thank you guys for your time. First-time caller. I've been listening to you guys since June, and thank y'all for what y'all do. I appreciate it.
Anthony, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. Let's continue on the phone lines. Let's go out to the East Coast. Eric in New Jersey, who was live at the WWE Survivor Series. Eric, let's talk about this past Sunday Survivor Series. You were there in the building. What are the highlights and lowlights as far as you saw them live?
Well, I thought there was a lot of good young talent in the Survivor Series matchups. The first matchup, I thought it had its moments early on with Evan Bourne, and I thought Dolph Ziggler and Evan Bourne put on a good show, and I thought kind of Matt Hardy kind of slowed it up, and there was some slow points, and then it picked up at the end. But the superior Survivor Series match was clearly the Randy Orton-Kofi Kingston one. That's what everyone kind of paid to see. So, and it definitely lived up to the hype from Madison Square Garden.
Talk about the crowd a little bit.
I thought the crowd was into it the whole night, every match. I mean, everyone was cheering really good for Kofi. Yeah, every match had a lot of. I mean, especially the main events of the final match. I mean, once Shawn Michaels kicked Triple H, I mean, everyone was on their feet for the rest of the match. It was pretty crazy, and everyone was really behind Shawn Michaels, and John Cena got booed as usual. But yeah, I thought it was a really great show. I mean, to be there live, I could see. I mean, the triple threat world heavyweight title match was a little slow. But, I mean, we all kind of expected it with, Undertaker hurting, and I know the Big Show has an injury in his knee or something. So, I thought
a little slow might be a bit of an understatement, especially to start. But you got to look at it. If you got Big Show injured and you got the Undertaker, who's very limited at this point, they probably did all they could and still put on a pretty entertaining effort.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought it was watchable. It was entertaining. You knew what you were going to get, and especially with two triple threats on the same card. I mean, they can't both be. The second one was very fast-paced and very entertaining, so they kind of had to switch up the pacing of the two matches. You don't want to have two identical matches. But and then after the pay-per-view went off the air, Shawn Michaels and Triple H hugged in the ring, and me and my friend had a Shawn Michaels versus Triple H WrestleMania 26 sign. They came over to us, and they pointed at the sign, and they stared each other down, and they kind of threw their hands up in the air maybe. So
is that really what you would like to see, though, Eric?
I would, but I want to see, if I see it, I don't want to see what they did in, I guess it was 2004?
Yeah, somewhere around that time.
SummerSlam match?
Yeah, I would rather see, more of a respectful type match. Maybe have Shawn Michaels be the last one eliminated in the Royal Rumble and question retirement and then feel the need to, beat Triple H at WrestleMania. I'd rather see something along the lines of, a respect match, like Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. I really don't want to see someone turn and be be the jealousy thing again. I just think it's been done over and over. And if you're going to have these two fight, you have to, do it more out of respect, I think.
Well, Eric from New Jersey, who's never pumped his own gas, thank you very much for calling in to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. We want the calls to continue, and they can do so by calling the following number. If you're local listening on 540 ESPN in southeastern Wisconsin, it's 414-276-3776. Again, that's 414-276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776, 1-800-990-3776. On hold, we've got Charles from Pennsylvania, and you can be after him just by calling those numbers. We'll be right back. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Join the 540 ESPN Text Club today. Get details at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live Tuesday night, November the 24th. Did you just get your date right? I do it from time to time. Thanksgiving coming up in just a couple of days on Thursday. Tomorrow night, the biggest party night of the year. Frank's having a big party at his place. I don't know if he told you guys yet.
Yeah, I'll have
ODB there, and it's hey, what am I going to do with all this paella?
Meathead right now is doing his best. Meathead is doing his best Hornswoggle impersonation.
His best who?
Hornswoggle impersonation.
Hey, and you can see that in the video. That's going to be exclusively at PWRshow.com.
The Little People Court is coming on Monday, buddy.
Well, you certainly don't want a court to get a hold of you because your days might indeed be, well, your number might be up.
Yeah.
David Hero, Frank Cosentino, the man they call Meathead, and Damian Nelson coming to you here live. We want you to give us a call. We're going to be talking about the WWE Survivor Series in just a minute. That was this past Sunday on pay-per-view. The number 276-ESPN or 800-990-ESPN. And before we go further, Frank, I'm just looking here at our YouTube statistics.
Yeah.
We did the wrap-up from Milwaukee here of the WWE Survivor Series, and let me just name the countries that you're over in.
Istanbul,
Germany, United Kingdom, Ireland, Mexico, Australia, Canada, India, Israel, Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, in addition to being one of the top. Actually, you're number 7 in the UK right now, Frank, on YouTube.
But the problem is, Frank, nobody likes you in the United States. I don't know what happened.
No, I love everybody. Remember that.
No, we're not talking about people loving you.
Number 7 also in India. The great Kali is a big fan. Since he's not a cop anymore, he's got time on his hands. So we thank everybody who has watched that show and made that show. Again, the accolades, 20 different accolades for that video right now on YouTube, and that's our video wrap-up of the WWE Survivor Series. We're going to go in much more detail here tonight on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Let's go back to the phone lines, and I have this prediction that we're probably going to have a little bit of a conversation about the gobbledygooker from Raw Monday night. Line 2, Brian in Texas. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Yes, sir. This is Brian.
Brian, you sound excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You're pumped.
You're pumped, aren't you?
I'm pumped up.
Spit it out, man.
I was gonna ask something. Do you think out of the divas like Candice when she returned and Melina last year, do you think they did Maurice return pretty good or not?
No one's had a better return than Maurice. Last night was
not
phenomenal.
even the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8.
I mean, think about it. She was fired for 3 days, and then she comes back as the gobbledygooker. We were all thrown off by that. That was amazing.
Do you think she will get a title shot?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's going to get a title shot. She'll keep that title for at least 3 years.
And Frank's not on the WWE booking committee, so...
All I know is when Maurice returned, I heard all the TV sets get knocked over last night down in Texas.
Thank you for that call, Brian in Texas. Let's continue on the phone line. We've got Charles.
I want it to be known. I said nothing.
Good. We've got Charles from Pennsylvania. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Fantastic. It's a great night here in Milwaukee. It's been raining all day, but whatever. The view from this studio, it's just amazing.
Oh, wow, nice. Yeah, you were getting the rain out this way, too, in PA. But, guys, I got 2 quick questions for you. I was able to catch Raw last night. I was there at Hershey.
Oh.
And it was a really good show. I thought it was well-produced show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised to see, number one, that Ventura was repeatedly saying that he wanted to shake up things and promote some of the younger talent with the bid. And number 2, I was surprised to see that Sheamus beat Kofi Kingston in that Battle Royal. I just wanted to know what you guys thought about the WWE actually going out and really addressing it by saying that they were going with some younger talent throughout the show, and that at the end of the show, Sheamus getting that opportunity.
Well, I've been saying for quite a while that Sheamus is a star in the making, and
No. I've been saying.
You know, I mean. He dominated.
You have been saying
he dominated at Survivor Series.
You also said that Alicia Fox was going to be the new Divas champion last Monday on Raw.
So close.
Fail.
You know what? She was close. But I think Sheamus is a star I think he's going to actually keep going forward, beat John Cena at the pay-per-view next month, become the new champion. And
that's huge.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's huge.
well, here's why. If they're really going to go John Cena versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, John Cena does not need the title for that match. So why not put on somebody younger? Put it this way, right now they are starting to build up Sheamus similar to how they built up Brock Lesnar as a big monster heel.
Frank. Yeah, and we saw it at Survivor Series. We see it at Raw last night, and now and it's all kind of just coming together, and you're correct. The thing that we're waiting for is, does he have the mic skills that are needed?
Brock Lesnar didn't have the mic skills.
Brock Lesnar had Paul Heyman, is what he had.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Will he need someone to get him over? Because as a
Bill Goldberg, no mic skills.
Goldberg was the gimmick.
But was
as a Sheamus, he's a gimmick.
Okay, but Goldberg came over as a face, correct? For the most part, they had the 100 and 0 and went all. Now Sheamus is a heel. When you have a heel, in my opinion, you need a mouthpiece, or you better have those mic skills, because you can do as much in the ring as you want.
Khali, Umaga. Well, Umaga had Armando.
Great Khali has Funyan Singh,
but he never really talks.
Right, but I like Sheamus, and I like how they're giving the push.
Are you trying to choke me here?
I'm ready to choke you. But what I'd like to see more is from the mic skills, and I know that takes time. It's not something that you just get.
Well, look at Jeff Hardy. It took him a while to get on the mic as well, but Sheamus has right now. Sheamus is their blue chipper.
He's blue chipper, folks. Main event right there.
Yep.
What J.O. said about The Rock in 1996.
And again, we're going to go into this when we talk about Raw a little bit later in, as Damian says, the program. But I thought Raw from Hershey, Pennsylvania, one of the best Raws I've seen in a while. Now, the MSG one, I was not the biggest a fan of. But the Raw that I saw last night with Jesse, the Governor Ventura, even though Jesse kept slipping up, saying the WWE Heavyweight Championship or saying the WWE...
No, he slipped up like you did. The World Heavyweight Championship.
No,
and notice how nobody corrected him.
No.
Yeah, they let him go all
Which is
night.
fine, because who cares?
You know what? And I complained about having a heel guest host for a while, too. Jesse pretty much was a heel last night. And
so what you're saying
Jesse
is Jesse Ventura was a pretty damn good GM, is what you're saying, right?
He was a damn good guest host.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
Better than Roddy Piper, would you say?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes, but you know what? We're talking about Sheamus here, and that's what the caller asked about. Sheamus, yeah, it was a shock to put Sheamus over. I thought it would be Kofi. But you know what?
Kofi's already over. He's already established as the guy that beat Randy Orton.
And that would have been his heat.
2-3 times.
That would have been his heat going into a Cena match, saying, "Well, he beat Orton."
But why would they? But why would they have the top two baby faces right now?
Why would they waste it? Is what you're saying, and I completely agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So they put in probably the guy with the most steam on him right now, as far as it, heel coming up. I think it's a good move.
And here's why they're going to put a rocket on Sheamus's back and give him, the push to the moon. They said last night, according to how they wrote the show, that he is the top young guy.
Mm-hmm.
So out of everybody, out of Kofi,
Jack Swagger,
out of Jack Swagger, out
during
of
the match,
Bourne.
during the match, he was sold as the guy that ended careers.
I will tell you this: Sheamus winning was a shock to me. It was perfectly executed by WWE, in my opinion, putting Randy Orton in that mix. Even though it made no sense, it made every piece of sense in the world, because how many people thought that no matter what would happen, Randy Orton would walk out of Hershey, Pennsylvania, the #1 contender for John Cena's title, and that was not what was to happen. Charles from Pennsylvania, thank you very much for that call. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report.
If your head wasn't so big, it would actually fit on there. Do you have the tape rolling on that, Damian? Did we get that again?
I see the red dot.
The Cause, David Hero and Damian Nelson here with you live on November 24th, 2009.
We can barely
Listen,
see
this
you.
is radio. The little things that happen while we're on break. Why are you talking about them? Nobody knows what's going on.
No. You have to explain that gap where you
go back to the phone lines, and you can be a part of them. The number 414-276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. Again, that's 1-800-990-3776. We're also live at pwrshow.com at the Chatmosphere. And just before we start talking about this past Sunday's WWE Survivor Series, 42 minutes into this program already, surprisingly, we've got Glenn from Long Island. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Quick question for
Go ahead. You want to talk about Sheamus?
Yeah. Actually, I want to talk about Sheamus in 2 different ways because who said that Sheamus was going to be like Brock Lesnar?
That was me. That was Dave.
Because I think differently. But first off, I want to ask, why is Sheamus's skin so white? Is it a disease or is it something else?
Are you asking that seriously?
He sleeps in one of those oxygen chambers.
Because he's a day walker. He's a ginger.
There's one available now after June 26th, I believe.
Oh. There's not much he can. I mean, he can get
You know what? It's just part of his gimmick.
It is.
He's the kind of guy that goes out. He wears long sleeve shirts the whole time. He's always covered up.
But all right, I am of African American descent. Can you get that white? Can you really?
That's just how some individuals are.
Have you ever seen the movie Powder before?
Absolutely not.
He's red. Usually a redhead is not
gingers.
I would say
gingers.
We had an email or a caller or something a couple of weeks ago, though, from Northern Ireland saying that wasn't too far from normal.
Right.
Is to be that.
There's
that
not a
pale
lot
over
of sun there. It's the pigmentation is what it is.
Glenn from Long Island, thank you for that call.
And those guys usually stay in at night, go out at night when the sun's not out.
They don't stay in the bar.
Yeah.
Let's continue on the phone lines. Dave from New Jersey, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good day.
Hey, Dave.
Well, I caught Raw last night, and, we're talking about Sheamus here. I don't personally think that his mic skills are bad. My question is, what do you think about his accent? I mean, he's got a strong Irish accent. Now, I know Kofi, they just made him drop his accent because of the fake. Now, is Sheamus's a real accent, and will it affect?
That skin color is coming from anywhere but Ireland.
Well, we're going to answer a lot of your questions about Sheamus this Friday night on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, available at pwrshow.com and on Time Warner Cable Channel 14, 9 o'clock p.m. right after SmackDown. We're going to be going in depth on Sheamus to answer all the questions that are out there, because I don't think the wrestling fans in general were ready for such an elevation of Sheamus, and it's our job to fill in those blanks, and we're going to do so this Friday on PWR Prime Time, including his accent, where he's from, and the choir he used to sing for.
Well, I think the fans actually were ready for an elevation because we had to get somebody else in the main
They were
event.
ready for an elevation, but I don't think anybody before Monday night could have said it was going to be Sheamus.
Well, they weren't going to say it was Cody Rhodes.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we might not have said it was going to be Kofi Kingston either, but thank God.
Kofi has come a long way. I'm the first to admit I was
completely wrong.
Cody.
Yeah, you were.
I was wrong about Kofi. But until they took away the accent and the whole Jamaican gimmick, he was going to be no different than Jimmy Snuka.
Do you think they'll change his theme music at some point?
Kofi's
wrong with this?
Kofi.
No, I'm just asking if there's nothing wrong with it, but do you think they'll change it because he's changed?
No, not at all. Nope. The kids love it. They're all clapping their hands and everything.
Dave, anything else for us?
Well, this might be a bit of a sidetrack, but how do you guys feel about Matt Stryker? He's been doing a really, really good job, in my opinion.
Matt Stryker may be the best color commentator in the business right now.
I think he's really coming along. And when he stepped in place of King on Raw, he really did a good job.
And you know what? He's also he reminds me of a young professor. He's kind of a student of.
Well, he used to be a teacher.
That is
Thanks for killing me.
That is a fact.
On the gimmick there, but I was going to finish that. Thank you, Dave. Not you, Dave, but Dave, Octavia's hero.
Matt Stryker is tremendous.
Yeah.
Him and Grisham on ECW were tremendous, and now he on SmackDown. I think JR is done, by the way, folks. JR said he probably won't be back till WrestleMania. If you don't know, JR suffering from, I believe, his third or fourth trip down the Bell's Palsy Road, and that's obviously a very debilitating disease that takes a lot of recovery time, and we wish JR the best.
Has he been missed?
That's the question. I have not missed who I think is the greatest play-by-play man in history,
I don't think
JR.
you've noticed
that
he's been gone
exactly.
anymore.
I think that it's time to move on, and I think that this is an opportunity for Jim Ross, and what I mean, not the ailment, obviously, but he's obviously got his head in a lot of other different areas, including running his barbecue restaurant in Oklahoma, looking to open another location. And we've got clearly people in WWE without him who can move forward. Now, none of them, just about none of them, would be as good as they are right now without Jim Ross, though, because most, if not all, worked with JR at some point, and obviously that helped them get where they are.
How old is he?
JR?
Yeah.
He's got to be about
mid-60s?
No,
I think he's in 57
early.
or 58.
Early 60s.
Okay. Well,
but late 50s. 60s.
But here's how you use a JR. Much like WrestleMania 15 after his last bout with Bell's palsy, when he came back and called just the main event.
Right.
That's how you use JR. That's how you make it special.
You
make
like
these
a
main
Michael
events
Buffer
special.
for a main event type?
Or on the AMAs. Michael Buffer introduced J-Lo on the AMAs.
She took
the
a
American
bump, hey?
Music Awards. Apparently she did.
She took a bump.
She took a bump from a lot of guys.
But we strayed off on that topic there. Matt Stryker, in my opinion, awesome.
I
phenomenal.
think he's doing well.
Ding. You know, news studio.
And he's playing the role. He's playing the role of somewhat of a heel.
Weak WWE
Very well
2009
educated heel, though.
Heel.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report. We've still got some callers on the line. Anthony from California, Kenny in Washington State. You can be a part of the phone lines. We're going to keep going with your calls. 276-ESPN locally, 276-3776, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. Also, hop into the chatmosphere at pwrshow.com, where we are continuing the discussion live. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Can never go wrong with a little boom, boom, boom.
Well, you know what? You were right, Frank. Sheamus did change his music.
I wanted Kofi.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't ask for this.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We are live Tuesday, November 24th. Big Thanksgiving week coming up, gentlemen. Who's shopping for...
Whoa. Isn't your birthday coming up?
Yes, it is.
But you were just in Vegas. Are you going back?
Nope. I'm needed here.
At the Horny Goat.
At the Horny Hideaway.
Anybody got any big... Obviously, I have plans for it, but do you guys have any plans for Black Friday?
That's your birthday?
No. That ain't right. That ain't right.
Hey, now.
I don't want Sharp and the other guy knocking on the door again. Okay? That was bad enough last week.
I've already got my sales ads lined up. I know exactly where I'm going shopping on Friday. What do you mean? What are you saying?
That wasn't me. That was
me. Do you sit when you pee, too?
I'm not sure that's an appropriate question to be asking me. Let's go to the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. I believe next on the line we have Kenny in Washington State. Kenny, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, how you doing?
Kenny?
I must say I love your podcast, and happy early birthday, Damien.
Thank you very much for that.
I was thinking about, what do you think if Sting was to be inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame?
I think it will happen eventually, but I think we're at least 4 or 5 years out before that does happen.
4 or 5 years after his retirement.
You think that long?
No, I don't think it'll be that long. I think if he would retire, like, let's say December this year, it would be less than 2 years.
So
2
a year?
years. 2 years.
Yeah. Do you think he would go? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm guessing unless the Hall of Fame is in California or Atlanta, that's the only time he would be inducted.
Kenny, do you have another question for us?
Do you think that Sting would ever go to WWE?
I think it's doubtful. What reason does he have to do it?
I don't know. Try something new, I would say.
Well, here's the problem with that, is his work rate is terrible.
Yeah, and I think that something new that he's trying right now is being a family man.
Well, he's been doing that for a while.
I understand
he's had a piece of cake schedule, but
what I'm saying is he's into his son's football games. He's into being a family man.
The work rate right now, in the WWE is brutal, and Sting could not,
6 months. He wouldn't in the last 6 months.
There's no way. There's no way he could do it.
Thank you for that call. You can join us on the phone lines. The number 414-276-3776 locally, 276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776, 1-800-990-ESPN. We want to make an announcement. World Wrestling Entertainment is going to be returning here to Milwaukee for SmackDown, WWE SmackDown on Tuesday, February 23rd at the Bradley Center. Ticket information will be released soon on that event. WWE returning to Milwaukee on February 23rd for SmackDown.
And you know what the good thing about that is?
What is that?
Is the Bradley Center has the best catering.
That's what I heard from JR. Did you guys get a chance to see WWE on Dinner Impossible?
Yes, I did.
I did not.
I thought The Miz stole the show.
The Miz absolutely stole the show. Ladies and gentlemen,
Santino.
I have an announcement to make.
You're a Miz Mark. Do it.
Not only am I a Miz Mark, but you can start calling me Miz Marquee.
Wow. All right. I thought
Did
Gail
you say
Kim
you
looked
had
good
a
on the
friend?
show, too.
How's that line go? This is just a friend.
Okay, this is great. Now, all three of you are singing on the show.
It's Miz Marquee.
But he's saying he's
Stop
just
it.
a friend.
It was a great show. I thought JR
I thought it was
good.
well done. Yes.
I had a chance to work with
He's
that show
fantastic.
earlier this year, and it's just
fantastic.
It's amazing what they do. And then seeing the WWE element on it, just absolutely fantastic. It was a great night of television. But be that as it may, holding patiently on the line, Anthony out in California on the West Coast. He wants to talk about WWE Survivor Series and this past Monday's Raw. Anthony, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey there, guys. I want to wish you an early happy holidays.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
About Raw, I was so much shocked they did let Sheamus win. Kofi was a possibility, but they're going to have also Ted DiBiase since they have the movie coming out.
I got to explain to those that may or may not know that just because Ted DiBiase has a movie coming out, he doesn't have to be a face or in the main event to promote the movie.
Yeah, like they did with Batista. They turned him heel after his DVD came out.
Who hasn't been, though, aside from Kane? Everybody else has been a face.
Ken Kennedy.
But I
He
think
was even on TV then.
Right.
I think the match between Sheamus and John Cena is mostly just going to see how Sheamus can do in the pay-per-view.
Frank, what do you call those?
It's a temperature check.
Ding, ding.
One more thing. Damien, this person I want to ask you, what did you feel about the little interview segment that Team Kofi had where Christian was saying, I feel out of place here?
Yeah, Damien.
You've already proclaimed who you are.
Context. It was about context. I thought it was good. I thought it was well done. It was entertaining. And Christian doing his little rap, I thought it was good. I had no problem with that segment.
Nicely put, Ms. Mark.
No, Ms. Marquee.
You.
Still fail.
I'm going to tweet that to the Miz right now.
Well, no, you're the Ms.
No,
Marquee.
you're the host. Keep going with
I'm the Ms.
show.
Marquee. Hey, that's clever.
You know what it is? It's very creative.
Don't be condescending to
I'm
me.
not. Hey, you know what? I'd go on the state website and get that trademark and copywritten the whole thing.
The Ms. Marquee.
Yeah. Get a T-shirt made up.
WWE Survivor Series was this past Sunday on pay-per-view, and Frank and I, we shared our thoughts this past Sunday on PWRshow.com and on YouTube, and we talked about the accolades that particular review is getting earlier on tonight. But a lot to talk about in this show, whether it's Rey Mysterio getting booed out of the building, the two championships that didn't change hands, the actually surprisingly impressive Divas elimination match.
What?
Kofi Kingston being further elevated up against Randy Orton. So much to talk about in an eventful WWE Survivor Series, and little did we know how eventful it would be until WWE Raw, hosted by Jesse the Body Ventura, the following night, this past Monday night. When we come back, we're going to talk in detail about the WWE Survivor Series, and we want to hear your thoughts on the show. We already heard from someone who is live at the arena this past Sunday and actually at Raw this past Monday as well. The number 414-276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. The chat continues in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. We'll be right back with more of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. You see, KYJ, things have changed just a little bit since the last time you were here.
I think you should see your oculus. Nothing wrong with my feet. I'm talking about your eyes.
I can even make my ass do tricks. Watch this. You have any idea where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. This is WCW. That's right. Hold on.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Pro Wrestling Report. We're live Tuesday, November 24th, 2009. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, the man they call Meathead, and the Kaz.
Hello.
And
what was that?
Hello.
What a first hour we had. ODB was our guest. The TNA Knockouts Champion is what needs to be said there. ODB to kick off the show. And we want you to join us here on the phone lines. The number is 276-ESPN, the number 276-ESPN, or 1-800-990-ESPN. But, gentlemen, this past Sunday was the WWE Survivor Series on pay-per-view. And let's go down match by match and to get the thoughts of David Hero and the man they call Meathead. First, traditional Survivor Series match, Team Miz, which included Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus, versus Team Morrison, Evan Bourne, Finlay, Matt Hardy, and Shelton Benjamin. The winner, Team Miz, with the solo survivors, or the survivors being Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and The Miz. Dave Hero, your thoughts?
I thought it was great. Finally, the young Lions, of course, with the exception of Dolph Ziggler, who they're now saying that they have given up on him. And,
who says that?
Insiders.
Who's the insider? You're our insider. So you gave up on him?
It's the WWE officials that have given up on Dolph Ziggler.
So you got a line to the WWE officials.
Oh, I got the hotline.
1-900-909-9900.
But Sheamus, it's all about Sheamus right now.
Yeah, so that was, as we come to find out on Raw, that was Sheamus' match, really.
Well, if you think about it, if you look at that match, and you have Morrison, who, he still has a lot of potential, just hasn't been used right yet. Finlay is used up. Matt Hardy, I hate to say it, he's used up. Shelton Benjamin's used up.
You're right. Those guys need to be off air for a good chunk of time.
Well, I don't know about being off air, but those guys right now are going to be enhancement guys. They're going to be used to help get everybody else over.
Yeah, you're right, because they've had their run, and it didn't work. So when they say that they
Matt Hardy had a good run.
Yeah, it was okay. He was the ECW champion.
The Hardy Boys?
The Hardy Boys had a good run.
That was an amazing run.
As tag teams. I'm talking about main event stuff.
I'm saying his career, he's had a good run.
Runs as a European champion don't count.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying about his career. He's had a good run of a career.
Oh, as a career? Sure.
Yeah. Shelton Benjamin, it's been disappointing.
Yeah. He's been Intercontinental champion. He's been a United States champion. He got in the mix for the ECW title. So Shelton Benjamin's also been a tag team champion. So he's had an okay career. He's been a Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank.
He's never going to go anywhere.
Star, but he's not going to.
I'm sorry. I'm a Shelton Benjamin mark, in addition to being Ms. Marquis. Shelton Benjamin's just never going to do it. I'm sorry. They tried it enough times with him. It's
tried
just not going to happen. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. He's there where he is, and hopefully he's happy in that role because that's where he's going to be staying. The next matchup, Rey Mysterio versus Batista. And, gentlemen, the biggest note to come out of this match, in addition to Batista really getting rid of Rey Mysterio for a long period of time with the beatdown at the end of the match, but the clear do it again and Rey sucks chance during that matchup.
Because the fans are sick and tired of him coming back for 3 or 4 months. Emotionally, well, you can't compare The Rock and Rey.
No, I'm talking about how when Rock kept coming back from movies, how the fans kind of turned on him.
You think so?
I think it's the same kind of heat.
They did it once in 2002 when Brock Lesnar took the title at SummerSlam because The Rock came in. He won the title, I believe, at Backlash or maybe the pay-per-view before and then dropped it right away to Brock Lesnar, and the fans were in tune with what was going on. That was the only time it happened. But
that
didn't
was
really
done
come
as
back
a way to elevate Brock Lesnar.
And it completely worked.
Yeah.
But with Rey, I just think the fans are sick of seeing him. With him, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
You're right.
I just don't like how when he does come back, he's in matches where physically it's,
he's little guy, big guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's always a little guy.
Yeah,
unless he's wrestling Hornswoggle.
Or
face it.
He could have. They could have somehow maybe Evan Bourne or some.
Even Cody Rhodes is taller than Rey Mysterio.
Well, we're not looking at taller. We're just looking at
it
math.
Doesn't have to be.
Because what Frank's getting at is guys Kane versus Mysterio or Batista versus Mysterio or Taker.
But that's
versus
always
Mysterio.
a great storyline. It's always the underdog.
It's not to your average fan. It's fun to the kids.
Well, and that's who they book him
You're
for.
Right.
Yeah, but the reason that the fans are saying some of them are saying Rey sucks is because we've seen it before.
And it's also an East Coast crowd.
East Coast bias all day long.
That's true. And if it's in California and San Diego, then it's different.
Completely different. Let's not forget, Batista's from Washington, D.C.
Correct.
He's kind of like, the hometown boy.
Right.
Next matchup to talk about was a traditional Survivor Series matchup, and it pitted Team Orton up against Team Kingston. Team Orton comprised of CM Punk, William Regal, Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes versus Team Kingston, MVP Mark Henry Christian, and some other guy.
R-Truth. K-Quick.
What? Say what?
Hey, does anyone know what Cody Rhodes' finisher is?
He has a finisher?
That's true. He really doesn't have one.
Is it the bionic elbow? Because he only wears one pad.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just curious. I have no idea what it is.
No.
You know, I don't know. I thought I thought the finish was great.
It's called the Crossroads.
Oh, okay.
That's clever marketing, Damien. You've
Here's
already
what
done
Dave's
one
doing.
today.
Let's pull back the veil again, as we did earlier. Here's what Dave's doing. Him and I have a long-standing disagreement that Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, is a bigger star than Evan Bourne. Dave Hero feels that that is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And that Evan Bourne is a bigger star than Cody Rhodes.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that this Friday night on video. Maybe tomorrow on Interactive or Friday on Primetime. I don't know, but I still stand behind it. It's simply my opinion. While I may
that's
not be,
what we're paid to do, is give our opinion.
No, well,
No,
I
that's
may
what
not be.
you're here to do.
I may not be the opinionist that you are, but I'm entitled to mine.
You know what?
Everybody's got one, you know.
We got an email, and that someone
Don't
said,
stick your
no,
pinky at me.
and they said whatever we're paying Meathead, we should double it. And if that's the case, that means you should be paying us.
What?
Right?
What?
How about we go back to that match that we were talking about before David Hero had his irrelevant for the time question.
Irrelevant?
I know.
No. We're talking about
a
the Survivor
joke.
Series match.
I get the joke. It fizzled. It died right in the middle of
Kofi
the table.
Kingston is the sole survivor in that match.
Great finish.
Absolutely, and a smart one.
Extremely, because it didn't bury Randy Orton. It made Kofi look smarter.
It's going to be hard to bury Randy Orton, though, for a while. It'll be still hard to bury him.
Well, no.
He just lost in a battle royal with a bunch of young guys.
But
Kofi
he's not Kingston,
but he's
who
not buried.
outsmarted him again.
Right, but he's
just
not
being
buried.
outsmarted.
Right, he's not buried.
I didn't say he was buried.
I didn't say you did.
You know, I'm just saying that they booked
Pay
it
me
smart.
double.
They booked it smart, because if Kofi would have cleanly pinned Randy Orton, that could have ended the feud right there.
Yeah, the feud, but not bury Randy Orton.
How long does this feud go?
How
It can
long
keep
does
going.
this disagreement about nothing go?
I'm not disagreeing.
No, I don't know what you two are saying.
It's funny that Dave Hero, David Octavius Hero, has all these disagreements about nothing, and he's never watched Seinfeld.
I did try watching an episode.
He probably didn't watch Curb this last Sunday, which was the final episode of the season with the Seinfeld episode inside of it.
I watched Smallville. That's all I need.
We get it.
Frank, reiterate your thoughts on that matchup. Kofi Kingston, the sole survivor, at the end of the day.
It was a great finish. It was a good match, and you know, as I mentioned to the fans are going to make Kofi Kingston. You know, that they'll book it the right way, in my opinion. But it's all the fan reaction, and if it keeps going, that's what was my question. How long do you think this feud can go? Because right now it's all Kofi Kingston against Randy Orton.
It's going through the Royal Rumble at least.
Yeah, there'll be some heat in the Royal Rumble. What do you think they'll do with TLC? Do you think they're going to have a match?
Oh, absolutely.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. When we come back, we've got Terry and Cudahy and Stephen Hartland on the phone lines. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. This is an epic success.
You want to know something?
I want to have a hog pin match in here.
You know what's amazing? I love the fact that Meathead is sharing his wedding song with all of us.
Oh!
When he gets up, here we go.
Uh-oh.
The gloves are off now.
Let me turn my mic off first.
Well, this is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN at ESPNMilwaukee.com. The only way that you can save us from this is to go to the phone lines. And remember, you can be a part of the phone lines and part of the conversation here at 276-3776. That's 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. Let's go first out to Cudahy. Terry wants to talk a little bit about Stephanie McMahon, the $1 Million Princess. billion-dollar princess.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, TNA has the Fire Russo chants in the crowds from time to time.
Yeah.
So Stephanie's taken over from, creative for WWE. The ratings have dropped in half. When SmackDown comes to Milwaukee, can we start to chant Fire Steph?
Fire Steffi?
Give it a shot,
Yeah.
man.
And then they'll kick you out.
Well,
right.
So what? You're saved like 2 hours of being bored. I mean, the WWE has totally gone downhill since she's taken over.
Well, I'll let you know that you'll get the credit for it. That's for sure.
Well, I hope to hear it. I mean,
then if it goes over real
She's
well,
been in charge
I'll
of creative
credit.
for an awful long time. I'm not sure we could attribute any of the problems in WWE to her, really.
It's that they haven't developed any new stars.
It
Yeah.
just started to.
Yeah, but if she's head of creative, come on, her job is to make the stars.
Yeah, but, keep in mind with TV, your viewers get older, they move on to different things. Wrestling isn't as mainstream as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, granted, but, whose fault is that? I mean, they had the audience. I mean, they were doing an 8 rating at one point, and now, if they hit a 3.9, they're jumping in their boots at the WWE.
It's TV. If MASH were on the air right now, nobody would be watching it.
Now, remember, 10 years ago, there were 150 channels. Now there's 400 channels to choose from. There's just more out there for you for your entertainment value, and we'll never see an 8 rating unless it's, I don't know, the hottest star.
Yeah, but when was the last time that guys like Jay Leno and Letterman and all them and Entertainment Tonight had the crossover wrestling stars when they were when they would do the crossover into the different TV shows as well? It hasn't happened.
Right. You're right. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as far as what who could be a guest host right now that could really boost ratings.
I'll give you one name, and his name is Rock.
But if you would put the Rock on right now,
you know what? But it'll be a spike, but it's not going to be more than a 4.
Pimped long enough.
Raw got a 3.23 rating this past Monday night with Jesse Ventura in charge.
And by the way, I got to put this out on record across the airwaves and, on our videos and whatnot. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. The man they call Meathead thought that Jesse the Governor Ventura was probably one of the best Raw hosts that they've ever had. And he was heel, technically. So I was wrong.
I heard thunder.
And lightning.
I really find it exciting. Let's continue talking about the WWE Survivor Series from this past Sunday on pay-per-view. And the next matchup is the World Heavyweight Championship match. Dave Hero and the man they call Meathead, your thoughts as The Undertaker defeats both Chris Jericho and The Big Show to retain the World Heavyweight Championship.
Predictable.
Yeah, I mean, we both figured that the Taker was gonna leave with the belt, but I mean, considering it was two giants in the ring, it was slow paced. I didn't think it was a terrible match. I thought it was passable. I kind of figured that Taker was gonna make the Big Show tap out because when was the last time you saw the Big Show get pinned?
Yeah. Well, why would Big Show want to be pinned? I mean, if he's the Big Show.
Well, he is taking time off to get his knee scoped and everything, so he'll be out for a little while. But overall, I thought it was a solid match. I mean,
he's been back solid now for 2 years.
I think
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he came back for the WrestleMania with Moneyweather. So he's been back solid 2 years now.
It was the Divas Elimination matchup, traditional Survivor Series match. Team McCool versus Team Mickey.
Cool.
Quick eliminations in this one. Again, I thought it delivered more.
Who got eliminated real quick?
Gail Kim was out second. However, Alicia Fox was in for about a minute. The winner in that contest was Team Mickey.
I thought that match was very poorly booked. Not just because Gail was second one out, or that Alicia Fox didn't win. You had Beth Phoenix give 2 big finishers, where she's dominant, and then she gets rolled up with a crucifix. I mean,
I didn't like that. I didn't like the match at all.
That was just ridiculous. Not a big fan of that whatsoever.
Meathead, your thoughts?
Typical female match in the WWE where they didn't really do a lot of wrestling.
They didn't give them any time to do anything.
Right. No.
I mean, those.
What was the timeline for the match?
You know what? It was less than 5 minutes.
Because didn't Meathead say 5 minutes?
No, I don't remember that.
I do.
All right.
It was not less than 5 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm not just saying that not to have you right, but it went at least 10. Their intros were 5.
I just thought that, you know what, for the girls, I felt that they kind of got screwed. They should have been given a little bit more time to show what they can do.
Right, because it is a major pay-per-view.
I knew when they had that match between the 2 title matches, like, wow, they're done.
That was the time to get up and get your favorite beverage.
The main event was for the WWE Championship. It was DX, comprised of Triple H and HBK, going up against the champion John Cena. John Cena walks out, still the WWE Champion, and right off the bat, we see the super kick from HBK to Triple H to start the match. The one team that didn't tease dissension, and like Jericho, they first gave you the hint of dissension. I thought that was brilliantly played. Meathead, your thoughts?
It was a hot match, actually. Did I want to really see it? No, but it was a pretty hot match, and it was pretty fast-paced.
Dave Hero.
I thought that the super kick from hell that he gave Triple H was pretty amazing, considering it knocked him off for almost the first, 8 minutes of the match?
Mm-hmm. And then the
Spine Buster
on the table took Michaels off for about the next 6 to 8 minutes as well.
You know what? It was well done. I thought I didn't like the finish. I was hoping Shawn Michaels was going to go over, which I thought would have, made it more interesting.
He should have wore the doo-doo brown tights.
But now, seeing as how they are having Cena go into a program with Sheamus, that does make sense because Shawn Michaels and Sheamus would not be a good program at this time.
No.
Let's see what Steven Hartland had to say about the Survivor Series on line 2. Steve, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Steve.
I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I was very hesitant of ordering it. I thought there was a lot of solid matches on the card. Like you guys were just alluding to, I totally stunned by the beginning of the match. I thought that was brilliantly played. Very good wrestling by the young guys, and I thought it was a really, really decent pay-per-view. And I also like the fact that, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I thought Matt Stryker was brilliant and made Cole and King look like idiots last night around Sunday night.
Well,
his
I'm
commentary
really
is so good. I could watch him call a midget wrestling match and I'd watch it.
I'm really off of the King. I've been off of him for a long time. Which is more orange, by the way, boys? Sheamus' hair or King's face? I'm dead serious, though. I mean, because that fake bake or that spray-on tan, it's getting out of control.
But yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about Stryker's commentary, but
I like it.
We love it, actually.
He's really growing on me a
lot. We
lot.
alluded to it earlier in the program as him being a young professor, Mike Tenay.
Yes. Yeah, I just thought the last part of this hour.
We didn't go that far.
He could step in with any, like I said, he could call a midget match and I'd watch it just to, because it's midgets, but also just to hear him.
But I think it's because, he may be fresh in the business for himself. I mean, it's been a couple years now that he's been announcing. But, I mean, he's still learning. He's still getting better. He's really kind of honing his craft now, whereas maybe you get a Cole who's kind of bored and, apparently saying comments during matches just to amuse himself.
Thank you, Steven Hartland. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Do you think we can get our own Sapphire? I mean, probably.
Duh. We could get it on 5th, on 6th, on 7th. Actually, we'll take it down tomorrow on 23rd. We'll take it down the 23rd.
How do you know where to find everybody?
None of your business. Hey, 2 for 1 on everything except for rails.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Carrot Top was on Regis and Gully this morning.
Oh, there we go with Carrot Top again. Carrot Top was at Romines also.
And they were in Vegas, and he said that the working ladies are running a special, and he brings out, he's a prop comic, so he brings out a purse, and then it's got a little drop-down thing. It says 50% off.
Dude, Carrot Top was on the Fox NFL pregame, right, last week? With
Carrot
Frank
Top's
Caliendo.
over. He's a pop culture sensation.
He's amazing.
He looks terrible.
He does look like
he's jacked.
He got dropped out of an airplane and landed.
You know what? He looks like Raggedy Ann on
steroids. Did you say he's jacked?
He's jacked.
Because
Raggedy Ann on steroids.
Yes.
Perfect. That's Carrot Top right there.
That's it.
calling us at 276-ESPN, 276-ESPN, or 1-800-990-ESPN. That's 1-800-990-3776. During the commercial break, the conversation continued on PWRshow.com at the Champosphere. And a couple of comments there specifically about Mike Tenay and that reference you made, Meathead. Let's hear him.
Mike Tenay is not a color commentator. That is the difference between Matt Stryker and Tenay. Also, from Miz and BJO.
Another Miz Marquis?
Whoa. Yeah, that's it. Until Stryker can go in-depth on Lucha Libre Wrestling, he is no today. Ha-ha.
How do you know he can't?
Nobody has given him the chance.
Remember, that's why Tenay was brought into WCW, by the way.
Because of his Mexican wrestling history.
We talked about the WWE Survivor Series. Overall thoughts on the show, from my standpoint, it was a worthwhile show. It didn't do anything huge, but it did enough little stuff to make it worthwhile, and I think we saw the payoff of that on Raw on Monday night, and we'll continue to see it on SmackDown. Chris Jericho versus The Undertaker this Friday night on SmackDown, by the way. But let's go around the room. Dave Hero, your thoughts overall on WWE Survivor Series?
I give it a thumbs up.
Frank?
Thumbs up what?
I liked it.
Okay.
Kaz?
Yeah, I thought it was average. You know, like I always
There's
say,
that word again.
YouTube people are going to hate you.
Good, because I always say I want to be wowed at a pay-per-view.
It's a lot
and
of
the
money
only
to
thing
be
that wowed me was the storyline. There wasn't anything wrestling-wise where I said, wow, that was cool. It didn't happen.
It wasn't like Morrison Ziggler's 2 out of 3 on SmackDown last Friday night.
I didn't see that.
5.5 out of 11.
That's just like saying average. We move into TLC coming up coming up in 3 weeks rather on pay-per-view. The only problem I have with TLC is that it replaces what was probably one of my favorite WWE pay-per-views every year, Armageddon, and I don't know why.
It was
but
the music.
I really had, it was much more than music. I really had a soft spot in my heart for Armageddon. This week in history, in 1999, WCW put on a pay-per-view called Mayhem at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And at that event, Bret Hart defeated Chris Benoit in a tournament final for the WCW Heavyweight Championship. Evan Courageous defeated Disco Inferno for the Cruiserweight Championship. And Norman Smiley defeated Brian Knobbs to become the first WCW Hardcore Champion.
And you know what? You're going to see that match again.
Stop. David, David.
I want to see that match, Dave. I like that
It's going to be in TNA.
I know.
Knobbs against Smiley for the TNA Hardcore Championship.
Norman S. Smiley.
We talked to TNA Knockouts Champion ODB earlier this program about Hulk Hogan coming into TNA Wrestling. On this Friday's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, we have some detailed comments that Hogan made earlier this week that are cause for alarm and are some of the foundation as to why David Hero is making the statements he's making over there. I'm going to continue to be in denial as it pertains to that.
And that's just not a river in Egypt either.
Also, in 2005, WWE announced the details of their wellness policy. Also, this week in history, in 1978, Tony Gurria and Larry Zbyszko, he was a living legend at the time, defeated the Yukon Lumberjacks for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And in 2000, Billy Gunn defeated Eddie Guerrero to become the Intercontinental Champion. We've talked about it a little bit so far tonight, but WWE Raw this past Monday night, it was a 3-hour extravaganza. Jesse the Body, Jesse the Governor, Ventura was the guest host. We got to see so many interesting things from Jesse. He was controversial as usual, but what really stuck with me is that he said a lot that needed to be said, specifically talking about the same old stars on Raw fighting for the title week after week, month after month, saying it's time for new talent, saying there's a conspiracy to keep the title on John Cena. All stuff that I can't say I would have expected to ever hear out of the mouth of anybody on WWE TV because of how true a lot of it is. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
You know, I thought, again, I got to apologize because I was wrong. Ventura nailed it. He knocked it out of the park. I was entertained by Raw, and I did my fewest amount of fast-forwarding through Raw that I've done in months. I mean, I've watched most of that program. Again, you know, fast-forward a little here, a little there, commercials, whatnot. And to be honest, I was excited when I heard that Vince and Jesse were going to do commentary. I loved it because you know what? Vince McMahon.
Back to you, McMahon.
Vince McMahon's voice as play-by-play announcer brought me back to my childhood.
They nailed it, didn't they?
Oh, they crushed it. They crushed it.
And that was 20 years ago.
The only problem was they sat on the wrong side. But
it's okay.
The bow tie, the whole thing. It was.
No. He didn't have the cummerbund on.
When he walked out with the bow tie, I thought of Bob Backlund.
Me too. But you know what? I wanted Jesse to come out on a horse.
I can't hear you without my glasses on.
I wanted Jesse to come out on a horse. That's what I wanted. So.
Why a horse?
They did that once.
So what? It's part of the history footage. You know, it's something we've seen over and over as part of a replay from what happened.
I wish he would have had his
main
hair,
event.
a little bit different.
I was actually waiting for like a feather boa or something like that.
But you know what? It's still, even those tiny itty bitty little details missing, I still loved it.
It was great.
I
know we talked a little bit about it, off mic, but was there a moment where Vince was kind of like, hey, Jesse, stay on script, because you know that Jesse's very controversial. Obviously, he's got that show coming out, but he's also, if he's trying to push.
Jesse's a businessman.
Yeah, I know, but there could have been that moment.
I'd be more concerned with Ozzy Osbourne than Jesse Ventura.
But he did have what has happened, and not too many of the guest hosts have had a major part of the end like Jesse was.
The reason he was able to do that, though, is because Jesse is wrestling. I mean,
right, but
he's a Vietnam
he could have taken that, hey, show's over now. They can't cut off my mic now. I'm going to say something extremely controversial, so this gets on ESPN or CNN News tomorrow. He didn't do it.
No, because it would have been after the show, so they wouldn't have had the live feed.
But here's the thing about Jesse. He's been very outspoken about a lot of things over the last few years, none of them being any problems in WWE. So I don't think he had an agenda. I don't think he had anything to gain out of it. I think he was just
Other
there.
than promoting the
Frank
show.
loves the conspiracy theory.
The show or the movie?
Both.
Conspiracy theory was Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson was in it. Frank, your thoughts on Jesse Ventura as a controversial guest host, his interaction with Vince McMahon, him and McMahon returning to the broadcast booth, which was never, ever a booth, but returning to the old days of WWE glory.
It was a great show, and it actually didn't feel like 3 hours. That was the other thing that I was, as the evening was going, it's like, hey, it's already 9 o'clock Central here.
But you knew exactly where the end of the hour was because that's when they put the big fat match.
Right. Well, what I'm saying, it didn't feel like it. If you're not
and
looking at the clock.
And that's a valid point. I said about WrestleMania 25 this year, it felt like 4.5 hours, and that's a problem. If a show's good, if it's flowing, if it's moving, it shouldn't feel as long as it actually is.
There were, a few extra, just taking the time talking to a wrestler in the ring and so on. But I thought the show went well, and Jesse has now been, in my opinion, the best guest host that they've had.
Of all time?
Of all time.
David Hero.
I thought he was great. For me, he's number 2 behind Bob Barker. That's just because Bob Barker has never been in that element before. But, yeah, I thought Jesse was great. I thought his delivery was awesome. And I thought it was a great show. It wasn't as good of a show to feel as Madison Square Garden, but I thought the 3-hour show was great because it showcased, after a big pay-per-view, a lot of the young talent that they do have.
Man, and I wonder if they'll do that. Now, granted, because it was Thanksgiving week and they kind of hyped it that way, but after a pay-per-view, a major, one of the top 4, the next Raw is going to be 3 hours.
No, but you know what I want them to do is like they have Money in the Bank and they have all the other gimmicks, Breakthrough Battle Royal. I want that. Once a year, once every 6 months, I want that.
Yeah, and it could work. It was innovative, I guess.
Well, and a lot of people wonder what still can be done new in the wrestling world. People think you got to go back to the Attitude Era. You got to go back and rehash stuff. And to that point, they did do something completely new, never before seen, as far as I can remember, on Raw this past Monday night.
That's interesting to bring that up. The one thing I was thinking that they don't do much anymore is the importance of actually winning a match. They do incorporate the storylines, but I'd like to have it where they take a month or 2 period where, either it's brackets or whatever they want to do, but it's important that you win this thing. Then you can build storylines off of that. But that's what I'd like to see, where it's something that they look, at least I would look forward to something like that.
I'm just glad that Maurice came back.
She looks hot, but, dude, way exaggerated. And then she threw a temper tantrum trying to get the goggly gookers feet off.
And the old footage of Jesse's days and Mean Gene and the Gobbledygooker from, which was Hector Guerrero, wasn't it? The original?
Yes,
I think it was.
Hector.
That was an overall good show, I think. And we'll talk more about that breakthrough battle royal and how we got to where we were with Sheamus in a main event at TLC when we come back. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside the man they call Meathead, sitting alongside the Kaz, sitting alongside David Hero.
David Octavius.
No! David Octavius Hero.
Yeah, I got it.
WWE Raw this past Monday night. We all seem to pretty much agree that Jesse the Body, the Governor, Ventura did a good job. I think he did an excellent job, and him and McMahon on commentary during that Battle Royal, while it was certainly not as great as it was back in the day when they worked together every week and you couldn't expect them to be that good, it was still vintage and very well done.
Cool.
Next week is going to be brutal. I
Why?
think
Because
Vern Troyer is
and
going to be just an abomination.
Oh, because of Vern Troyer?
Absolutely.
Well, but there is the trial to look forward to, the Little People's Court.
That's just messed up.
No, dude, you know what it is,
Vern
dude?
Troyer's going to want to pick a fight with Hornswoggle.
You know what it is, though? No, he's not going to pick. He's on his side. That's why there's a Little People's Court.
There's jealousy there.
No, there's not.
How do you know?
I don't.
All right, then. There's
then
jealousy
how do you
there,
know?
Because I've heard.
Oh,
I know.
People under the stairs told him.
You put your ear to the ground
No.
and listen?
No. I got the hotline number.
1-900-909-99. I hope that's not so active. We keep spewing it on this program.
The question
It's
is,
probably some sex line or something you guys are throwing out there.
the question I have for everyone out there, when was the last time either they had a contract signing or an arm wrestling match, they put the table in the ring, and the table wasn't used except for...
It was the last time before this last one.
But I will say, this one...
because Batista got thrown, the table thrown over Batista by Ray.
This one was actually...
No, it was Mick Foley and Nash, where Mick put himself through the table.
This made sense,
But the table was used, like Frank said.
After he got put through the table, Jesse said it's going to be a table match. This one actually made a lot of sense.
Yes.
It will never happen. You're never going to have a contract
And
signing.
by the way, Dave, I remember what I was going to say now because everybody was holding their breath. What's this?
Well, yeah, because you're dropping bombs in here. Come on.
Yeah.
What this does, some more of that Febreze over there?
What this does is actually puts other little people to work. Because, they're out there looking to make a couple bucks here and there. It puts them out to work. That's all it does.
You sprayed that like arrogance.
Angel Armani.
No, you sprayed that like arrogance. Just don't get it in Jake the Snake's eye.
Maybe out in the
Did you see Jake the Snake on
Saturday Night Live? Was it really him?
No.
I was not able to watch that show. I'm not up that late.
Hulu.
Maybe our
Chatmosphere?
Yeah. Maybe they know if there's ever been a time where a table in the ring has never been used.
The IWC is very resourceful.
They've got to know, because I'm curious.
I'm positive it happened in the past 6 months.
Sheamus.
We'll find out.
TLC. The contract is signed. The match is a tables match against John Cena. David Hero, you have made your claim clear that Sheamus will walk out of TLC, the WWE champion. Frank Cosentino, your thoughts on the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, and John Cena at TLC?
I like it because it's new. But as I said early on in the program, I'd like to hear more from Sheamus in order to make him a monster heel. Whether that happens or not, whether he can do it or not, is another question. But I'd like this because it's new. But I'm going to disagree with you, Dave. I don't think they'll give it to Sheamus right now as far as the time. I think what they'll do is Cena will win that match, but somehow it'll still show that maybe Sheamus does something to keep this thing going. Just it's too new yet.
It's a gimmick match.
It is. And it would make sense for Sheamus to win it. I just think that Cena's pull just gives him this title.
No, see, because that pull, apparently, according to insiders, and I don't give up my insiders.
I didn't mention names.
Sheamus is on one of the mountains right now. So,
he's
not getting boulders thrown at him.
We'll see. I think that he'll come out with a good showing to keep the feud going.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with Frank here. What's your name again, Frank? I agree with Frank here. It's a little early to drop that belt right on Sheamus. I mean, because what's the belt really for? The belt is to sell merchandise. The belt is to, put the guy out there that's going to travel and is going to sell merchandise, pay-per-views, TV ratings, and so forth. Sheamus isn't there yet. It's a great, as Frank would say again, temperature check for Sheamus in a major pay-per-view. Matter of fact, besides Survivor Series, what other pay-per-view has Sheamus been on? None.
And to give
he's brand new.
That's what I'm saying. He's that brand new. At least Brock Lesnar was making his way up before he got that title shot and won the belt.
So pay-per-view is what date?
It's a Sunday.
The 15th?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so Sheamus came on board
in June.
So it'd be less than just about 6 months to have him with a World Championship belt.
Yeah.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
No.
Just because it's not done regularly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's risky.
13th, by the way, December 13th.
Well, it's not. It could work out, but I just think they need more of a mouthpiece for him.
I disagree.
I think at this point, you almost have to have some kind of ending where Sheamus dominates John Cena. Because John Cena, I think, is protected. I don't think that him losing a match, losing the title, or being annihilated in a matchup would hurt him irreparably.
He's been thrown through one of those spotlights,
Yeah, he was back the next night, right?
Yeah. He's been choked out by a ring.
Okay. Could you see they'd have to time it perfectly, a DQ where both guys are on the top rope, the table's set, and both guys go falling on it at the same time, and the ref's like, we don't know who wins.
Well, but here's the question, though. As I said, we go in-depth on Sheamus this Friday on PWR Prime Time. How long is the longest match we've been exposed to of Sheamus in WWE? He had some pretty good brawls with Goldust.
Besides Survivor Series?
Well, I mean, you really can't count that. It was a 5-10-person tag match.
You're right. So 5 minutes?
So I don't know how. I mean,
they're really going to have to push him big time then the next 3 weeks to make it work. And it could happen. And I'd be fine with that because it would be new. But will it
But
work?
also, he ended the career of Jamie Noble. He kicked the head off of Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah. We're going to see a lot of Sheamus then.
And here
not
I
a
thought
bad
that
thing.
Sheamus
Of course, he threw a lot of Sheamus.
Yeah. And here I thought
it might not be a shame.
Yeah. Here I thought that he was going to work with King next and get that slow rub, the slow rise up.
Well, that'd be 2 heels.
King's not a heel.
That
Come
was
on.
WWE Raw from this past Monday
King.
night. When we come back, we're going to talk about the 2009 Pro Wrestling Report honors and our top 5. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
WWF Wrestling Legends, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Ooh-wee. My new favorite sketch, by the way. This could be a movie. You know, like Ladies Man Wins Fish. What's Up With That? That's it. What's Up With That is going to be a movie. I never thought Keenan, or whatever his name is, was that talented.
Keenan Ivory Wayans?
No. This sketch blew me away.
Damon Wayans? Marlon Wayans?
This sketch blew me away. I actually saw it because of the Jake the Snake thing, and I watched the sketch and said, wow, this is funny.
Welcome back to the
What's Up With That?
I was too busy ignoring him. I'm sorry. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're in the final stretch, the home stretch, if you will, and let's remind you that the voting for the 2009 Pro Wrestling Report honors is wide open at pwrshow.com. About 5,000 people have already voted
for Alicia Fox. That's
awesome.
In all categories for the Pro Wrestling Report honors. And in case you don't recall, the categories are as follows: TNA Pay-Per-View of the Year, WWE Pay-Per-View of the Year, Match of the Year, Breakout Star of the Year, Most Shocking Moment of the Year, Broadcast Team of the Year, Female Wrestler, Tag Team, and Wrestler of the Year. And keep in mind, all of those nominees were submitted by the Internet Wrestling community and are going to be voted on. by the Internet Wrestling community, and all categories are closed, as it would not be fair to open up and add other pay-per-view events or names or whatnot. So those of you who have made suggestions, they are appreciated. However, these are the options as of this point. We're going to be broadcasting a very special edition of the Pro Wrestling Report, the Honors episode, on December 11th, 7 o'clock p.m. at pwrshow.com, 9 o'clock p.m. on Time Warner Cable Channel 14 in Milwaukee. Got to hop on over to vote. Have you guys all voted yet? You shouldn't, because you're ineligible. I don't know if you read the fine print or not.
What fine print? I've already been suspended a couple times, so I don't get any news.
Let's go to the top 5. Each week, we pick the top 5 names in the past week of professional wrestling, and we will start with Octave. David, Octavius Hero.
Let's see here. Number 5, I'll go with Jesse the Body Ventura, doing a great job.
JTBV.
Last night. Number 4, let's just go to 2 and 1. How does that sound?
What?
You know what? It's just Sheamus.
2 and 1.
Yeah, because there really is no number 4. There is no number 3.
You are amazing. Because what was Frank trying to accomplish at the beginning of the program? And look what you just did. You just swerved Frank.
Yeah,
you did.
Frank.
You did.
How do you figure?
Frank was trying to whittle his list down to 3. Can we just do 3?
I wanted to do 3. That was me. I didn't want to do 5.
No, it wasn't. It was Frank.
No.
Wasn't it you, Frank?
Hey, I know it was 2 hours ago. I wanted just to do 3. Yeah. No, number 1. No,
you didn't. It was you, Frank. Frank's sitting over there silent because he knows that.
Frank, speak up, my man.
I'm waiting for you to finish your top 5.
Frank, forget about Dave.
I think he did forget his
You worked on the top 5. Frank
I wrote it down this time. Triple H, AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, ODB, and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
There you go. Perfect. Top 5. Mickey James, MC Cool, Maurice, ODB.
Right. Oh, I got him ready. They're right here. They're right here.
I got this guy laughing at me. I got Fish hitting the buzzer and Awesome Kong. It's all girls this week.
The definitive top 5 list, the one all of you tuned in to listen to. I'll give you 5 that I thought about in advance and a total of 5. Maurice, because she's, back and gobbling like a turkey.
Texas is happy.
Randy Orton, Jesse the Brody Ventura, Desmond Wolfe. Insert time for Dave Hero insult there.
No, forget it. I was going to mention Roxy Foxy.
And the Hart Dynasty. They had a match on Raw. They got a match on SmackDown. They're going to wrestle Crime Time on SmackDown.
Are you serious? They're your number 1?
No, we don't do it in order. We just do a total of 5.
Okay.
Or 3 if you're you and want to just buck all the rules, buck the system, do whatever you want around here.
I have a different contract.
It's Don on the phone.
And where was the pictures?
All right, we appreciate all of our callers tonight and all of you tuning in and joining us. Don't forget to check out the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive. That's going to be available at pwrshow.com, answering all your emails tomorrow. pwrshow.com tomorrow, and also PWR Primetime this Friday, right after WWE SmackDown, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Time Warner Cable Channel 14 and on demand at pwrshow.com. Special thanks to our guest, TNA Knockouts Champion ODB. Here was our guest earlier this evening, and we'll see you again next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. For the man they call David Hero, the Cause, and the man they call me Dad, this is Damian Nelson saying so long, everyone. We'll see you next week.